Hello friends, welcome back. In this session, we will understand clustering a little better with an operator called as aggregate. Why do we need aggregate is very simple. This will help you in going ahead with better visualization, and that's what we are going to see. We have already seen how exactly clustering works, and now we are going to learn how exactly the visualization can be improved using the option called as aggregate. I am going to use the same iris data set that we have already been very familiar with, and this time we are going to use it with aggregate. That's the only difference that we are going to see, and you can understand how much exactly the change that you bring in into the picture when you go ahead with aggregate. Let's see how exactly the iris data set is structured. We have got the labels, three labels: iris setosa, versicolor and virginica. All these are the labels that are available, and similarly we have got A1, A2, A3 and A4. They are nothing but sepal length, sepal width, petal width, and all those are given as the attributes A1, A2, A3 and A4. Well, I am going to drag and drop it here, and it's as usual we are doing. I have just dragged and dropped it, and this is the data set that we are going to use. I am going to use the k-means clustering again, but as usual I told you we are going to make some minor changes, but after this I am going to cluster it and then I am going to use the aggregate. Understand, I am going to cluster and then I am going to aggregate it. Use the aggregate model there. I mean aggregate operator there. Now I am searching for the aggregate operator. You could see that I am dragging and dropping. So first let's cluster it and then let's go ahead with aggregation is what I am trying to convey. Now I have connected the iris data set with clustering, and then I am connecting the clustering the clustering operator to the aggregate operator properly, and make sure that the connections are all done properly, without which you will not get the expected result. Now I am going to the parameters, and inside the parameters I can select whatever I want. As I told you, I need A1, A2, A3 and A4. They are nothing but sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width. So I am selecting all of them and I am pushing it to the right hand side and I am applying it. That's all, it is done. Now what is the next step to go? We need to go ahead again with the operator, and this time it is going to be called as we are familiar with the data set, so we could go ahead and use it, but somebody for whom it is not familiar, we need to go ahead with options called rename, and reorder is also very useful option. So I am pulling in the reorder option right now. After typing it in the operator section, I am reordering it properly by connecting the points appropriately. You could see that here I am using aggregate.virginal. I am reading the each and every point. Please hover around it and then connect it appropriately. EXA to EXA is connected, the examples to example is connected, and similarly you need to connect it appropriately, otherwise you will not have the expected output. Now once I double click the attributes, I am going to reorder it. This will enable me to reorder. I can move A4 to the first, I can move A3 second, I can move A2 and the third, and A1 in the last. So that's what I am doing. I am doing it right now in such a way that the petal length, petal width is followed by the sepal length and sepal width. I can do it the way I want, but this is still a small reordering option that I have included in the picture so that you can understand that this is also an option available for you to work around. Now what is the next thing? The next thing is sorting. I need to go ahead and sort. Type for sort and connected EXA to EXA is to be connected, which is nothing but attributes example is connected to sort example set input. So I have connected it appropriately. Once the connection is all done, it's very easy for me to sort it. So I need to now sort which of the parameters. I am choosing A4. A4 is the one that I have to sort. I mean A4 is nothing but you need to read through the data set carefully. Sepal length, sepal width, petal width. So which order do we have to sort it? Do we have to go with ascending order or descending order? Increasing order is what I choose, and the attribute chosen is A4. That's it. So what I have done, I have simply reordered the attributes and then I have sorted it with the sorting option. I can go with decreasing order as well. That's up to you. I have chosen this one, and you can choose a different option as well. Now I need to rename. Why we need to rename? Very simple. We may not be familiar with the attribute names every time, so it's better that we rename it. It's just A1, A2, A3 and A4, right? Let's name it perfectly, without which it's going to be difficult for us. Let's go ahead by selecting the parameters. A4, we can rename it as petal width. So we are renaming A4 as petal width. Followed by that, we can rename all other attributes very clearly. A3 is a petal. Again, if you see petal length. Similarly, we need to rename for other two options that are available, A2 and A1. A2 is called sepal width. Similarly, followed by that, we need to go ahead with A1, which is called as sepal length. So once we are done with it, we have renamed it. It's very easy for somebody to see through that and then to understand what all the operators, attributes name for the taken data set. Otherwise, it's very difficult for us to remember what is A1, what is A2, A3, A4, etc. Now it's almost done. So we can collect the results of the clustering operator, and that can be connected right away to the result section. So first part is done. Second part, the aggregated result. So I can connect that and see how exactly the aggregated results are available. And finally, the reordered, sorted and renamed results are also available with us. So I am going to take it forward as well. So once I connect these three, I could get three different perspectives. One is directly clustered, second one is aggregated, and the third one is the sorted, reordered, renamed output as well. So now we can run it and start understanding how exactly the inference is coming out of these inclusions. Let's go ahead and run it. If you see that we have got the output available for a renamed option right now. We have renamed the attributes as petal width, petal length, sepal width, sepal length, A1, A2, A3, A4. A4, A3, A2, A1, and that's correctly available right in front of us. This is for renamed output. Next is clustering output. Third is cluster model output, and this is the example data set. So if you see clustering, we have got the clusters clearly framed, and in the renaming, we have got the renaming appropriately done, and the design can reveal you that. We have got clustered output, aggregated output, and the renamed output. All those are available. So it's very easy for you to understand, and you please hover around those options that are available so that you can understand things in a better way. The aggregated result, the data table is available in front of you right now, and the reordered, the renamed, properly available data is also available with us in terms of result. Now let's go to the renamed result, where you can see that it is all done in the increasing order. So we have reordered A3, A4, A3, A2, A1 was the reordering. So you can see that here. So it has to be the same order. A4 was named as petal width. So then we will have to sort it. A4 is the attribute name that we are looking at for sorting, and it's nothing but petal width. So when you see the results, the same thing has happened. Petal width is the base now, and it is in the increasing order. The values are increasing. You can see that the petal width, petal length, sepal width. But in the petal width, you can see that it's all in the increasing order. 100, 0.11, 0.1000, and it keeps going and it's increasing. It's in the ascending order that we have arranged it. So it's very simple for you to understand and to try it out. If you have any queries after you try, you can let me know. You can see that it's all in increasing order by keeping A4, the petal width, as the base. Now when you go into the clustering in a little detailed manner, you can see that the clusters are arranged, and there are 4 clusters that you could see. 0, 1, 2, 3, 5 clusters, 5 clusters are there in fact, and in the 5 clusters we have got 50, 12, 25, 24 and 39 items totally, and it's 150 items totally on the whole. Now if you see that, we can go ahead to the statistics. This is very important for you to understand again. So we have got the clear stats available, which is actually the inference that we need to go ahead with. So modeling is very easy, but how do you, or what do you infer something out of it? You can use all these filter options to make sure that you infer something very clearly out of this, as what's the mean, what's max, what's average, all those things. The stats is going to really give you a lot of content, and visualization is something very, very important. This is where you get a clear picture, as in how do we get the data visualized in a format that can be understandable. I can use any sort of charts available, and now I am using a different chart where you can see that the plotting styles can be changed. Now you can select the color group where it can be for petal length, and I can go ahead with a different chart here. Scatter bubble chart is what I have used. So now you can see that it's really very nice for you to understand the visualization part of it, because that's what the tool is meant for. The tool gives you a lot of clear visualization, and you can change all the available options. You can include petal length, petal width, sepal length, sepal width, and see how exactly the inference comes out of. What do you infer out of it? What can you understand out of it is most important, and that's exactly what we are going to do now. With color, if you see, I can go ahead and start changing the options. So I made it a little better right now. Now the x-axis column, I can go ahead and start changing things. So just try it out. All these are to be tried out, only then you can understand how exactly they are useful and what do you learn out of it. And now I'm making it as sepal length, now sepal width. If you see that, it is immediate. It's really real time. And for value columns, you can have the selected attributes as different. Now I have included petal width. When I apply, I get it immediately. So the attributes can be changed for the value columns. I can make all the 4 attributes also being part of it. that will give you a better picture. In fact, now you can see that all the 4 will come in into picture, and you can start visualizing clearly the petal length, petal width, sepal length and sepal width very clearly available for you in terms of graphical representation. Now one thing that I want you to do is to explore. So without exploration, I don't think we will understand a lot in it. Even I have a lot more things to explore in this, which really will give me a lot of knowledge, I believe, when I start trying. Now this is just a part where we learn and we can do more things. Now see that the presentation is really very neat. So this is the best part about this tool. This tool gets you a very clear visualization. So that's how it works. Let's come back to clustering. I have already explained you that the cluster model I have explained you, and the design is very simple. As you have seen, we have made the design in a very simple way such that you can use it, understand it clearly and try it out in your machine. If you have any doubts, questions, please go ahead and ask it in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer. This is how we can use the aggregate model for us to go ahead with clustering, and we have got a better visualization because the last time it was not so. Thank you.